welcome back to my channel. I'm Jenny, and today I'm going to be doing a review and demo and swatches of the Dare to Create palette by Morphe. Look at this monster. It's so big and pretty. Anyway, so I'm going to start off with the demo, so if you would like to see the demo, please stay tuned. So to start, I already tight-lined my top lash line and I went ahead and primed my eyelids, and to do those things I used the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Swerve. To prime my eyelids I used the Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Eyelid Primer. And since this shadow palette doesn't have a matte, like, flesh tone color for my skin tone, I'm going to go in with Brûlée by Wet n Wild, the single shadow. This palette's huge, so excuse me while I try to figure out how I'm going to do this. Going into the shades Bare and Canvas, these two light ones right here, lighter ones, I'm just going to put that all over the crease, taking it up a little bit higher, and then kind of just over the lid too. This is going to be, instead of like being blown out this way, it's going to be kind of a more rounded look. Going into the shade Define Me, this nice warm orange, I'm going to do the exact same thing, taking it above the crease and then down in onto the lid as well. Taking my fluffy Sedona lace brush, I'm just going to go in and blend out those edges more, kind of blend all those shades together. I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Sculpt, this last one here, on the bottom, just a little tiny bit though, tapping off most of the excess, and taking that right into the crease just to kind of deepen it up a little bit more. I'm going to take it down onto the lid as well, just to kind of darken it up, especially on the outer corners, because I do want it to be a little more dark on the outer parts of the eyes. Taking the shade Vibrant, this nice kind of dark red color, going to take that and just put that right into the crease. I don't really want to take that anywhere else. I'm going to kind of fluff it up a teeny bit, but keeping it mostly in that direct crease, just to add some depth. With a smaller blending brush, I'm going to go into the shade Stroke, and I'm just going to put that right onto the outer parts of my eye and into the crease just to deepen even more. I'm actually going to take that funky flat brush from that Wet n Wild brush collection, and I'm going to take that same stroke color and just kind of stamp it into place, and then just rub a dub-dub. Taking my finger, I'm going to go into the shade Color, this really pretty teal, and I'm just going to take this and put it all over my lid. Going in with a flat definer brush, I'm going to go back into that teal shade, and I'm just going to run it on the inner half of my eye and just kind of fill in the spots that my chubby little fingers can't miss or can't make. So taking my pinky finger, I'm going to go into the shade Tailor, and I'm just going to put that right in line with my actual like eyeball and just kind of run that into like the center-ish area of my lid, and then kind of just blend it out. See how that just kind of makes it give it a little pop? I really like that. I'm just going to kind of drag that all over the inner part, just kind of blending it all the way out instead. I like the way that looks all over the lid. Taking my index finger, I'm going to go into the shade Image, and I'm just going to kind of tap that onto the outer edge just to kind of make it a little tiny bit darker out here. I'm going to take that flat brush again and tap it into that vibrant darker orange red shade, and I'm just going to kind of pop that right back on top where that blue kind of took over, just to bring back that warmth in that area a little more. So this completes the top lid portion of the shadow. I'm going to go ahead and put on some fake lashes and mascara and stuff, finish my face, and then I will be right back to do the bottom lash line. So basically what I did to the top, I'm going to end up doing to the bottom for the most part. So I'm going to start with those two lighter shades here. What are they called? Bare and Canvas, and I'm going to take that all along the entire lower lash line. Going into the shade Define Me, this nice warm orange, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now before I go on any further, I'm going to put some of that ColourPop eyeliner in my waterline. Going in with a mixture of this shade and this shade, they are Sculpt and, I don't know, what is this, Vivid. Putting that on the lower lash line too. Taking just a random fluffy brush, I'm going to start to blend this out now. Taking just a teeny tiny bit of that Vibrant shade, I'm going to put this on the outer part. Just a little bit though. This thing is so big. With a flat definer, I'm going to go in with that color shade. I'm going to put it right underneath like my pupil and iris and whatever. I'm going to go in with like an angled brush actually, because I think that might be easier for what I'm trying to do. So now I'm going to go into that light blue shade, Taylor, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put that right on top of the color I just put down. So this completes the eye look. I'm going to go ahead and put on a lipstick and I will be right back. So now that the demo is done and the look is complete, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the palette itself. Just a little bit about Morphe. Morphe is a mostly online brand. They do have their own store in California, and they have recently came to Ulta. They are sold in a handful of Ulta stores, but they're mostly online. The palette itself is not on Ulta. It is strictly on their website, to my knowledge. I did not see it on the Ulta website, and I purchased it from the Morphe website during a Black Friday sale. This palette is a limited edition holiday item, so they say they're really into limited edition stuff that comes back as permanent items, so we'll see if it comes back permanent or not. This palette is $32. Without a sale, I did get it on sale, so I think I paid about like $27-ish. Maybe a little less. I'm not really sure exactly how much I paid. I bought a handful of other things while I was buying this, so the original price is $32, but it is a very large palette. Morphe does claim to be a cruelty-free brand, but I don't know that they are vegan. So going ahead and talking about the packaging of this, I'm going to have to scoot back to show you this massive palette. It's gigantic. So here is the Morphe palette itself. It has the new Morphe branding on the top with the new logos and such. This is a really nice palette. It is a sturdier cardboard and it does have a magnetic closure. So when you open it up, the top says, "Be your own muse, we dare you." But it also had the name sheet, which I taped to the top because I didn't want it just laying on top of the shadows. And then here are all of the beautiful shadows. Oh, I'm getting out of here are all of the pretty shadows. As you can see, the center row they're a lot bigger than the rest. And when I first saw this palette online, I thought that these shadows were full-size, like regular standard eyeshadows, and then these were like smaller. I thought that these center shades were the full-size standard eyeshadows, and then I thought that these like colorful shades were the size of like this ColourPop, like the ColourPop pressed shadows that are in palettes that are tinier. That's what I thought, but no. These colorful ones are full-size standard shadows, and then these ones are humongous. To compare this palette to another Morphe palette, this is the 39A compared to the Jaclyn Hill palette, just because they have the same packaging. So as you can see, it's quite a bit bigger. So before I get into any swatches or anything, I want to just discuss how the shadows perform. This has been the only palette that I've worn for the past maybe half a month, at least 3 weeks. This is the only palette that I've worn. And I've worn almost every single shadow in this palette. So I do have a very good idea of how all of these apply. So I do know how they wear throughout the day, and this is overall an amazing, amazing palette. In my opinion, I feel like this quality compares to the Jaclyn Hill palette, which we all know is not a different formula. It is very similar to their small 25 pan palettes, which I also have, and those are very nice too. But these shadows are very, very soft, very blendable, very pigmented, and they wear beautifully throughout the day. Now, My only real beef with this palette, and it's kind of a big beef, is when you look at this palette, you see an amazing range of colors. But what you don't see is a matte white, a matte cream, a shimmer cream, any type of lighter shades. Which, it's great that this is darker and it caters to those with darker skin. It really is great, and I'm glad that that does that. But where these shadows are so similar, and like these are so similar, and I don't know, these two greens are similar, these are similar, you know, there's so many similarities throughout these shadows that I feel like they could have taken out a handful of them and added like a matte bone color, like the Brulee shade that I used to set my concealer, not concealer, shadow primer, or like a nice shimmer shade, all over the lid shimmer shade. I feel like all of these are very bold or very dark shimmer shades. And for me personally, other than this look, obviously I love this look. This was one of the first looks I did with this palette, and I really wanted to recreate it for you guys because I really, really like it. But overall, like, I think the lightest shimmer shades that they have is this green one down here and then this brown one. And as you can see, they're still pretty dark. You can't use any of these on the inner corners of your eyes or on your brow bone because it would just, unless you're deeper skin tone. If you're like around my color or more fair, there isn't going to be any type of highlighting shades for you, and I feel like that they missed the mark as far as that goes, because there's so many other similarities that they could have easily replaced like this shade or that shade or something, you know, to add those colors. So I feel like that was a big miss for this palette. But overall, the quality is amazing, and you can easily go out and buy the Wet n Wild shadow for like 99 cents. And then you have that shadow, but with a palette this big, I expected this shade to already be in there instead of me having to go out and buy it, you know. But overall, the palette is amazing. So for swatching, I'm just going to go row by row, and I'm going to go by fours. So in this first row, we have Bronzed Chrome, Stroke, Expression, Artistic, Spark, Create, Passion, and Forever. These are really, really pretty. These shades down here remind me of the modern Renaissance. So in this very lopsided second row, we have Frame, Mass, Cut Crease, Deep Hue, Vibrant, Snatched, Vivid, and Trendy. In the third transition row, the big pans, we have Bare, Canvas, Sunder, Define Me, Evolve, Transitional, and Sculpt. And all of these are matte. And like these two are almost identical. They could have totally put in another shade. In the fourth row, we have Image, Indigo, Dare Me, Chromatic, Fickle, Inspire, Pine, and So Glam. This is a beautiful row. Absolutely beautiful. So in this last row, we have Tailor, Color, Cobalt Blue, Slice, Cat Eye, Exposed, Granite, and Muse. Now, the matte black looks like it swatches nicely, but it's actually like a thinner black, so when you actually apply it to the eyes, it's not nearly as pigmented, which I personally think is a good thing, because you don't want to get black in your crease and it be like so much that you can't blend out. So I like that about this, but I know a lot of people like a super, super pigmented black. So like I said earlier, this palette retails for $32, and I definitely think that it is worth this, and I totally recommend this palette. It's absolutely beautiful. If you can get past not having a pale shimmer shade or a pale matte shade, then I think that this is a total go. And also you can get 10% off using any random YouTuber's code. I don't have a code, obviously, but Jaclyn Hill, Kathleen Lights, Manny MUA, etc., etc., etc. have codes, so you can easily get 10% 10% off of any purchase at Morphe. And so that would bring the price down a little bit, and so it's even a better deal then. So it's not a bad deal at $32, but when you can get 10% off, you probably just should go ahead and do that. So I definitely recommend this palette. It is a very, very nice palette, and I will have it linked down below in case you're interested. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I know it's probably going to be a very long video, but I appreciate you being here, and I'm so glad you took the time to watch my video. If you would like to see more, please subscribe down below. Please give me a big thumbs up so I know that you liked this, and thank you for being here. Bye.